So there's some things that I'm always working on. Um, so I don't know if how many people actually know how deep ADHD really goes. And yes, I'm not blaming things on ADHD, but um, anyway, ADHD does have symptoms just like any other condition. Um, but one of those is um, anger issues. It actually takes a lot to get me to the point where I want to throw something or hit something, but um, it doesn't take me very long to get angry. So it's just like get angry real fast, and then there's like this period from getting angry to getting furious. Anyway, um, that was relevant, and I don't remember why. Uh, I will tell you this: all the stuff that's going on with me, it's made me angry, uh, and there's always something to make me angry. Something that didn't go right, or something that maybe I don't understand why it happened the way it did, or didn't happen the way it didn't. Um, so there's this process that's used usually for behavioral issues, narcissism, borderline, ADHD, even with autism. It's called dialectical behavioral therapy. I don't know why in the world they named it that. I mean, anyway, and it focuses a whole lot on um, not not the thing that's causing the problem, but where you're at in that moment and why you're there. And it makes sure it helps to teach you not to justify whatever behavior would be typical in a situation like that. Um, so with everything that's going on, and the normal response would be to tell the truth, tell how bad it really was, everything that really happened. Um, 'Cause I would love for my story to actually be told. Right now, only half the story is being told, and there are a lot of people that are hating me because of it. Whatever. But like I deal with at work, whenever somebody tells me that I didn't do something good enough, or I'm holding this tool a slight bit wrong, um, nitpicky stuff, or even big stuff that just didn't make sense to me and even doesn't after an explanation, or something that really drives me nuts is telling me that what I'm doing is wrong but not giving me an explanation. That drives me insane. Um, anyway, and I actually have to continually remind myself, not that it's not worth it to respond in the way that would be natural for any human being. Uh, Everything from telling your side of the story to getting angry, acting angry. Um, I have to remind myself that those things don't really do much. Um, I know that with the slander that's going around, the um, uh, defamation of my character, if I say anything to contradict the story, then it'll just look like I'm trying to do damage control, which technically would be true. Sorry, this is really getting on my nerves. It's weird. Feels weird. Anyway, And again, that's normal behavior. If somebody's talking trash about you, your natural inclination, and honestly an appropriate response, is to try and set the record straight. But it's going to make me look exactly as I'm being described. Controlling, narcissistic, okay? Because narcissists are infamous for trying to do damage control whenever their name is on the line. I just don't like being lied about. But I don't tell my side of the story. Not just because it won't make it better. Not just because it will probably make it worse. But the moment that I decide to interject myself into whatever narrative, even if it is to correct some falsehoods, I am wresting control from God. Okay, everything goes back to God. Because if you try and fix, super air quotes, if you try to fix the situation yourself, God will absolutely let you. He will say, you want the reins? Take them. Good luck. And then after you've destroyed everything, after you've ruined your own reputation, ruined the reputation of another person, even if that person is doing wrong, you're no better than them. After you have completely wrecked everything you were trying to save, God will say, okay, it's my turn now. You gonna let me have it? Most people will be like, well, no, I am the master of my own destiny, which is absolute absurdity. On the day that you are laying on your deathbed, provided you make it that far, and you're looking up at the ceiling, or looking at a wall, or outside a window, ask yourself, how much of your destiny were you in control of? And when you take your last breath, is that your decision? The truth of the matter is no. You are not in control of your destiny. If you have destiny, which I guess in truth everybody has a destiny, it just may not be as grand as you want. Some people are meant to be janitors, and some people are meant to rule like kings. And honestly, we're just too stupid to know why each one is. Because we're not God. We're kids playing in a sandbox. So, you will try and be the master of your own destiny. You will wreck your entire life, and God will absolutely let you. It's not that God doesn't care. It's not that He doesn't have power. It's that He's going to respect His own creation enough to let you decide how much you're going to mess up. And, on the subject of anger, the Bible does say, be slow to anger. Okay, it also says be slow to speak. So you should, by moral statute, if not intellectual, look at a situation before you even give yourself the opportunity to respond. Shut your mouth, step back, and look at it objectively. And to truly look at something objectively is to remove yourself from it. Like if you were going to give a stranger advice on a situation. And the appropriate response in most cases is to shut up. Leave it alone. Let it run its own course. Not every situation is that way. Somebody causing pain to another person, that's a situation it'd probably be good for you to step in. Provided you have the faculties to take control of the situation. Not everybody does. Some people do need to stay out of situations like that because they're more likely to make the situation worse and get themselves hurt. But whenever God said, vengeance is mine, He really meant vengeance is mine. So what happens whenever you take it into your own hands and you decide that vengeance is yours? God will say, yeah, okay, do that. And whenever you've broken enough stuff, come back to me, and then I'll do it the right way. So, I've tried to adopt this mindset. Wherever I am is where I'm supposed to be. Whatever I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. And whatever happens is what's supposed to be happening. I don't have to like it. I just have to understand that not only is it out of my control, for whatever reason, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And whatever's happening is exactly what's supposed to happen. Regardless of how I feel about what's happening on my soon-to-be ex-wife's part, I do believe that this is part of my payment for what I did in the past. It's not that God holds on to my sin. It's that it's better to pay on this earth for the things you've done wrong than to pay in the afterlife, as we call it. If God doesn't discipline you while you are on this earth, then you're not going to be with Him. If you do wrong and you are not disciplined for it, and you aren't going to be at His side. And that's probably a controversial statement. We can argue about it, whatever. I probably won't argue about it. I'll probably just let you rant and move on. But I do believe that what I'm going through is part of my payment for what I've done. But at the same time, what is happening to me from a human standpoint is not justified. Because I turned away. I repented. I tried to make right what I wronged. Okay. Of course, there is also the aspect of recovering what was lost. And by that I mean, through the course of my marriage, I was put in positions where I lost my desire for God. Lost my desire for the things of God. Lost my desire for the calling of God. They called me to do music, and in an attempt to keep my wife, I disobeyed God. The years immediately following that were absolutely treacherous. It's like walking into a forest, and the deeper I got, the worse the flora and fauna got. So, God is trying to get me to a point where I'm reconnecting with Him. And I am. Maybe not as deeply as I should, but some people can jump right into it. Some people need baby steps, and I think I'm somewhere in between. If I try to jump right into it, I'll abandon things that I have to do. And I don't think God wants that any more than I do. Because honestly, that's what I want to do. I want to just cast it all away and just be a minister. I don't mean hiding in a church. I mean going out on the road and letting that be the rest of my life. I don't care if I have to walk. But I don't think that's what I meant to do. Because regardless of what she's trying to do, which part of that is try to take the kids away, which she's effectively done. No proof needed, no evidence needed, just to claim. I still believe that I have a responsibility to somehow influence my children in the way that they should go, going toward God. And she probably thinks that keeping me away from the kids will keep me from influencing them in that way. And when God is in the middle of it, there's nothing the enemy can do to remove you from what you're supposed to be doing. Because I'm working my way back to the music. Okay, I actually have to rework my hands because it starts hurting right there in the Spider-Man button. Comic books. Anyway, part of it is I gotta rework my guitar frets. And the other part of it is my hands have been dormant too long. They don't work those strings and frets as much as they used to. And I'm paying for it. But without having direct contact with my kids, so I can minister to them, so I can teach them the right way to go, my only recourse is to be the best vessel for the love and message of God that I could possibly be. So that is something I'd like to challenge other people to do. I don't have as many viewers as I used to. As it turns out, most of those viewers were people who were just looking for ways to hurt me, which is fine, whatever. I can't. Ministering to people who already agree with me is foolish and pointless. I would rather be hated by the people who need to be healed than to be loved by people who don't need God because they already have Him. Like Jesus said, those who are well don't need a physician. Only those who are sick. That's probably a very crummy paraphrase, but whatever. I do what I can. So, my challenge is, in everything that you do, exhibit Christ-like behavior. And that includes looking at a situation and saying, now is the time to shut my mouth. And it'll go that way. Whichever way that way is. It could be that way for you. Either way. Point is, most times the solution is shut your mouth and move on. Pray for discernment and God's guidance and obey the still small voice. It'll hurt. It will get worse before it gets better. And even when it gets better, it's still going to be suckish. Some people don't have the heart for it. That's why Jesus said, there will be many people on that day, the day of judgment, who will say, Lord, Lord. And I will say, go away. Never knew you. Many are called, few are chosen. The point of that is, there will be a lot of people who think they serve God because they use His name and try to act like Him, but never actually had Christ in them. We're good at deceiving ourselves. It's called delusion. So, anyway, do your best to exhibit Christ-like behavior, which in most cases is shut up and move on. Because Jesus was nothing if not profoundly stoic. and that requires a certain mindset. And so I'm at the point now where I am going to take my own advice. I am going to shut up and move on. So in keeping with that ideal, everybody have a good night. And in everything that you do, try to be better.